Welcome back, class. I'm Chris Sikora. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go through the review for the Creo Parametric 6.0 Basics class final exam. Now, I'm going to go through it rather quickly, but if you watch it carefully, and I recommend maybe watching it, or I should say modeling up the assembly 3 times, making the drawing for practice purposes. And then when you come to class, you can't watch the video while you actually take the test, so just be aware of that. And those of you who are doing it from online, it's differently depending upon if you're in my class or not. You might have to take it at the school, or otherwise figure out something else. But here it is. First of all, to get the test, you go to the V as in Victor, ER, T as in Tom, A, N as in Nancy, UX1.com, and then you just click here on exams, so up at the upper right, and find the white column, and you're looking for Creo Pro E Basics Final. So go ahead and click on that. And you could download this. I would recommend downloading it and then launch it. And that's just so you can rotate it. But let's look. There's really 3 main parts to this. There's model the clock body. That's this part right here. Then create the assembly and explode it. And then recreate the drawing that you see here. Okay, so we see an exploded view, front view, left, bottom, and those have hidden lines. And then this is a section view, a detail view, bill of materials, and balloons. So let's begin. So like I said, you could rotate this once you download it. And you can see it's an 8-inch diameter, and there's some ordinate dimensions here as well as engineering dimensions, whichever one you want to use. I don't have all the engineering dimensions on it, but I do have all the ordinates, so you can use that. Those of you who aren't familiar with ordinate dimensioning, basically everything is off of a baseline of 0 right here, and then every subsequent base has a dimension that carries off with this jog feature, and you can see the dimensions. And you just have to subtract if you're drawing on a sketch plane after, not off of the 0, you have to subtract that amount from the amount that's seen. So let's go ahead and build this. Start off with the new part, and then we'll grab the files, by the way, in just a minute. Select new part, and go ahead and name this the clock underscore body. And it's just a part, solid, hit OK. Go to extrude, select the front plane, proceed to draw a circle in the center, and change that dimension to 8 inches. And then go ahead and hit refit. And if you like, you could actually bring it in closer and refit. And I don't need to see the planes right now. We will need to turn them back on later, so just be aware. All right, also draw in the hole. And the hole is specified on the print at a 1/2 inch. And hit OK. It gets extruded 0.75 to 3/4 of an inch. And now the number one thing missed on this test, sadly, is just the round. And I know all of my students know how to put a round in, so it's just an oversight. So just try to remember not to forget that round. It's 20 points off. By the way, the test is 300 points. Every feature that's missing or that's wrong, a dimension that's wrong, or messed up somehow, those are all 20 points off. It's pretty harsh, but remember, you have a training, a review video like this to go through it to make sure you could create it with perfection. So let's move on to the recess now. Select this face, go to extrude, and it just jogs down to 7 inches. So this next circle is 7, and hit OK, and then it gets flipped and cut. Hit remove material, and only 0.125. Oops. There we go. All right, I'm going to hit OK. Select the floor of that, hit extrude, the next depth. Diameter, I should say, 6.5. Hit OK. Flip that direction, remove material, and this goes 0.375. Now in the print, it's an ordinate dimension, it's 0.5, but you have to remember you have to subtract the 0.125 from that in order to get the 0.375. So 0.375, you will not see that on print. It's mathematical. All right, now select this face, go to extrude, draw in the bolt circle, so go to circle, draw out that circle like that, then click on it, and right here you could change it, construction. That way it's innocuous, and let's go ahead, this is supposed to be 5 inches, let's just verify that on the print. And there it is, so we're good to go. Now we could go to the circle and right at this quadrant, put the 12 o'clock digit on, and that's going to be 0.375, and hit OK. And now it's only 0.1. Now again, it's on an ordinate dimension system, so you have to do subtraction to get that. 0.4 minus 0.5. Now we can pattern that, so select the extrude 4 from the model tree, go to pattern, you're going to have to go to axis, and now this is where you're going to have to turn on the axis display, select that axis, type in 12 digits that we want to see, and then 12 divided by 360. Oops, I'm sorry, 360 divided by 12. It's going to give us 30 degrees. Hit OK. And you can now turn off the axis display, otherwise it gets a little annoying. Okay, flip around the back side, go to extrude. This next extrusion, if you're snapping to something, try not to snap to anything. Just zoom up if you have to. And this is going to be 7.5. This is for the back of the clock. Hit OK. Flip the direction. Make sure you remove material. And again, it's 0.125. All right, now you have to put in 4 prongs. Select this face. Go and add center lines, a vertical and a horizontal. And the reason why we're going to mirror those, add your circle here for the prong. Let's go to 0.125, actually 0.25, sorry. And then it's 1 inch off of center for both vertical and horizontal dimensions. Now that you have that, select the circle, go to mirror and select the vertical center line. Click again, dragging over an envelope for both those circles, go to mirror and select the horizontal center line. Hit OK, and this is 0.25. Hit OK. You don't have to put the text in. There's no. Actually, if you put in the text or engraved text or embossed text about 0.02 in height, you could put whatever you want on there. Keep it short. I'll give you an extra 10 credit points if you could do that. Just make sure when you send it to me or print it out, call it out to me that you put it on there. All right, so we have that done. Let's go ahead. We're going to just go ahead and we don't need to save it necessarily unless you're fearful that you might crash or lose power. But now I'm going to go to, oh, first we have to grab the files. So the files are under, instead of exams, go to part files. And on the white column, you're looking for final exam parts. Click on that, hit download. There they are. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to select them all, right click, cut, and I'm going to drop them in on my documents. I have a Creo folder that we've been using all semester. Right click anywhere here, go to new folder and call it final. Double click on it, double click on it again, right click, paste. Now the BOM table may not be functioning yet. I still have to update that. So we'll just do it manually. All right, now that we're here, we go to new, assembly, and we'll go ahead and call this just clock and hit OK. Now go to assemble, and you could go to in session to find your clock body. Click on that. And remember, instead of automatic, go to default. Otherwise, you'll have problems getting the section view later on. Now, let's go to assemble, go to Creo, find the final folder, and we'll go ahead and select, let's see, we want the chrono housing. Open that up, get that to the back, get it close in proximity, and remember you could grab the ring here and point it towards the hole. Now select like this boss here to that hole or the outside, doesn't matter, any of the concentric areas. Now go ahead and select this hole here. Make sure you get the upper right hole there. Okay, and now you could select this face to this face and then set it to coincident. Okay, now I'm going to go to the front view orientation here, and I suggest you do the same and go to wireframe just to verify, or hidden, just to verify the text is at the bottom and there's two holes here at the top. That's for the mounting bracket. So if you did it upside down, delete that chrono housing out of here and try putting it in again. Make sure you get the right alignment. If it's on its side or if it's upside down, 20 points off. So be aware. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to shading with edges. And let's get on that bracket. So assemble, get the bracket, hit open, drag that over here, drag it up, rotate it around. Do you have to do all this? Probably not. You know, so if you want to try get lucky, you might be able to. Okay, now I'm going to select this hole here to this hole here, and they are aligned. And then this hole here to that hole there. And finally, the underside of this to the top of that. And it went coincident. Hey, if it doesn't go coincident, remember you could select it. All right, hit OK. If it doesn't go coincident, also might mean you did something wrong earlier, so just be aware you might have missed a mate of some sort. Okay, now go to assemble, and we're going to go ahead and bring in the hour hand. There it is. Get it over here and get it close in proximity. We could actually select the hole on there, or the outer face that's concentric right there. Oh, it's tough. There we go. Click on that. To the white sleeve. And then drag it out a little bit. Get this face here, the backside face, to the black sleeve. And if it goes coincident, you did it right. Now let's go ahead and assemble the minute hand. Bring that up, about here. Now we could do it a little bit differently this time if we wanted. If you want to try, you could select this face here and make it flush with the white sleeve. Make sure it goes coincident. Okay, we could bring it down. Now we could go concentric. This face here to the gray sleeve. Hit OK. All right, and the times don't really matter. I don't really care whatever time it defaults to. Oh, we need to get the bolts on. Assemble bolt. Get that up here. Again, maybe align it partially. Select that face there to this face here. And then the underside face of the bolt. Oh, let me hit refit here. To that face there. And if it goes coincident, you got it. If not, you can select coincident. All right, one more bolt. And then the lens. That face to that face. The underside face here to this face right here. And apply. All right, lens now. The lens is probably the trickiest, and it's not even that bad. It's because it's a very thin lens, and to get it on, sometimes students have challenges. It's not tricky for me, per se, but new users sometimes have challenges with it. Okay, first of all, you'll see there's two edges here. There's this flat edge. May as well mount that, and here's where the students start making mistakes. They select this face. That's not the face that's supposed to be aligned to. It's supposed to be in this recess. So the second face there. Now, if it goes at an angle, make sure you just go coincident. All right, and now this outside face right here to that face right there, and you got it. The lens is in place. Now let's go to, let's see here, standard orientation, and then proceed to edit the positions. Now, if you go to edit position and see how mine kind of came apart, actually kind of close to how I want it. I just have to drag them a little bit further apart. If you have stuff flying out to the sides, that is an indicator, a clear indicator that you missed some of the mates. Okay, so can you manipulate them and move them? Yeah, but that's kind of, I don't want to say it's cheating because you're not doing it intentionally, but you're not finishing the true mating process. So just be aware if that happens. I've seen it time and time again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now, click on this and control select that, drag that up. That's pretty good right there. I'm going to drag this out and drag this out a bit too. You just don't want anything hiding. And I'll select these two. They're actually pretty good distance apart. There we go. All right, so you'll see there's a line that I put in there. You didn't get to see that because I paused for a second. I just wanted to make sure that I got it in there first so you can see it. The intent is to get all these little blue lines like you see right there showing the explosion direction. So the way it works is while you're still in the explode, see this little magic wand, you click on that. Now the references, you click in the reference here, and you want to probably select flat faces. So for example, like you could select this face right there as a reference. Now you click in that little box, and let's try and get down into the hole. Sometimes you can select edges too, and it works okay, but I found it works really well here. So watch this, I hit apply, and it puts in that nice line right there. So again, I could do one more here. Let's go the opposite direction. Let's go from the bottom right there to the actual bolt surface and apply. And there we go. And all I did with the next one, which you didn't see me make here, I select this end face, and then because this is concave, I selected this little flat face on the edge there, and then hit apply. So that's the exploded line sketch, and hit OK. Now we could go back to isometric. Oops. Oh, we do want to save this, by the way. And the way you save it, this is very important. You don't want to miss this step. You go to View Manager. You go to Explode, the Explode tab. And you could create a new one, or you could just make sure it's always the default here. So you could go to Edit and just Save. And right now it's going to save as the default Explode. And it's going to say, do you want to update it? Yeah, Update Default. That way you don't have to create a new one, but this is really nice. The reason they have the ability to make multiple exploded views is if you're doing desktop publishing, for example, let's say like IKEA, and you see how they have their desks and things, they have the assembly instructions step by step, like step 1, 2, 3, and you see, okay, this bolt goes here and it jogs into that place. This is how you could do that. You can make new exploded views showing those steps and then call them up when you need them. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit close. We only need the default. And now let's go and make the drawing. So I'm going to go to New, Drawing, and we could use the drawing name as a file name. That's fine. Hit OK. And empty with format, browse, and use the A format that's in there. And hit Open and OK. All right, now I'm going to go to General View, hit OK, click right here. Now for the exploded view, we could go to View State, select Explode, and we've seen this before, hit Apply, and there it is. Now if it doesn't come out properly, or if it's partially exploded, you probably forgot to explode it like this manually, and then take that little camera icon that I showed you. So rewind back to where I explode, and then at the very end I show you how to update it. We just did it. Okay, and then as far as the scale, I think I'm going to go with a 0.2 for this particular exploded view. There we go. And then click on Turn Off Lock, and then there we have it. Now, do we need this? No, I don't care if you have it on there or not. Okay, now we're going to bring in another general view. Click, hit OK, click right here. Let's go to Front, double click on Front. View State, actually View Display. We're going to go with, this one actually has hidden lines. So click on Hidden and hit Apply. and we could hit OK. All right, it's a little on the small side. Let's try and get this bumped up. Actually, I suppose we could have just did the whole sheet this way. I think we're going to have enough room. Okay, now we have that. Let's go to projection view, click here. Don't want another one there. Click back on this one. I middle mouse click to exit that. Click here, and then click back on this one, go to projected view, click here. Now this is going to be a section view technically, so we double click on it. Sections, 2D cross section. Don't forget to turn on your plane display so you have a way to slice it. Hit the plus symbol. And now over here you just hit done. And let's go ahead and capital A inside this area. Hit the green check. And now it's looking for us to select the plane. Now, see here in the center, I get that orange line. You might have to move over it a couple times or zoom up closer to get it. If you've done those two things already and it's not showing up, go back to the very beginning of the assemblies portion where I'm dropping the part in. And what you have to do is you have to edit the dropping of your clock body. You actually have to click on it and edit it. The actual inside the assembly, and you have to align it instead of going with automatic. Go with default. So you can watch that in the video, very beginning. You'll see how it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to hit apply, and there we go. View states. This one, actually view display. I want no hidden on this one. Hit OK and apply. Now I'm going to move this over a little bit for the section AA. Select this view, go to arrows, and select this view for the arrows. I'll click over here, drag this down so it's not overlapping the arrows. Don't forget to turn off your plane display. That will print out. It will also show up in the PDF. I mark off 20 points for that, so just be aware because it's not acceptable to have those planes showing on this drawing. Okay, if we want, we could squeeze these down. Just click on these little arrows here so they're not taking up as much space because we need space for a bill of materials. Okay, but before then, we need a detail view of this region right here. So go to detail view, click like on that edge there, and then make it kind of small, like around the X. So at 12 o'clock around the X, go to 9, click, 6, click, 3 o'clock, and then you don't have to close it, just middle click, and then left click over here to drop that and move it. Now this again is unacceptable, so make sure you move this so it looks better like that. I don't care where you move as long as it's not overlapping something and it doesn't look unusual. Okay, this we could center. All right, now we're going to bring in the bill of materials. Now the bill of materials doesn't, what I have, I need to update. It doesn't work correctly in this latest version. So we're going to do it manually. So if you go to tables, there's table here. And we're going to need, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because we need the top column or the top row for text, and then 1, 2, 3. So click and just drop it right there. Okay, now it's a little on the big side. So what you could do, you could right click on any of these, and right here is the height and width. Let's change the height and width. So the number, the height, let's see here, it's, oh, it actually has automatic height adjustment. We might not need to change it, but just in case you want to. The height, let's go with point, oh, and characters. Let's go with 0.75. I like that better. Okay. All right, now here, double click in this box, and we'll go ahead and put in part number. Double click in this box here. You might have to quadruple click in there to get it to work sometimes. Okay, and then this is the part name. And then double click in here. And we'll go ahead and give this the QTY for quantity. Now we can actually justify these. See over here you have the center justify, which maybe I had to do it ahead of time. Let's see there. Okay, it's not doing what I was hoping, but that's okay. Let's continue to move on here. Okay, so for the part number, let's put in, for this one, obviously number 1, double click on this one, number 2. And it seems to indent sometimes, I'm not sure why. This will be 3, 4. It seems to behave. It's here, let's just text that and see if we can get in 5. 6, 7. I want to fix this one. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we could center these. Just I'm going to control select this group. You can window over the group too. There we go. All right, so the trick with centering it is you actually have to select the cells. Don't be in editing text mode at the time. All right, and so here we'll do it here and here too. Control select these 2 cells. And oh, you know what? The text editor just went away. That's all right. We'll bring it back in a second. Okay, so I'm going to leave the part names blank. Let's see. I guess let's see. Number 1. Let's actually get some of these things in here first. First on this one, number 1, I'm going to put 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1. And now control select these. And let's go to center. We can see that that's a disaster right there. Let's get that out of there. Center. There we go. And this one. And this one here, just backspace. Okay. Oh, and one of them, the bolts, will have that last. Actually, that should be 2. Right now, the automatic bill of materials, just so you know, is a lot easier. I just have to get that updated, so I just haven't done it. All right. And so let's go ahead and we'll label these now. So I'm going to go back to, let's see, annotate. And down here we have balloon node. And we've seen this one before, so let's go to width leader, make note. We'll click on one of these and a middle click, and then that will be part 7. Green check 2 times, make note, zoom up here, click on that edge. Oops. Let's try that again. Make note. And then that's going to be, we'll make that part 2. Make note. Make that part 3. 2 clicks. Make note. Part 4. 2 clicks. We'll drag that out in a minute. Here. Oh, darn it. Make note. Hold on a second. Let's try that again. There we go. That'll be 5. Make note. 1 click with the middle. I'm clicking with the middle mouse button, by the way. Sorry. And then this will be 6. All right, and finally, let's see. The lens will be number 1. Make note. and then done. Hit done. Okay, now it's oops. There we go. Had to hit it a couple times. All right, so now let's get that moved. You have to click once, and then you click a second time on it to get it. Then middle click to get off it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we could put in the part names. So for part number 1, double click, lens. Part number 2, let's try and get it using this. Maybe it's more consistent. This will be bracket. And then part 3, chrono. 4 will be the body. Part 5 will be the hour hand. And part 6, minute. And in that case, it's not fitting, but that's okay. I'll show you how to fix that in a second. And then finally, 7 will be the bolt. All right, now to get that to where it fits, this is what you do. You click and drag a fence to surround all that. And didn't do what I was looking at. Let's see. I'm sorry, drag it from left to right. There, and now that's all what we'd expect. Now you right click, and here you go to width. And so we have the column width. We'll change it to 13. And there, now we have more room. Hit OK. Let's get that spread out like that. Okay. And finally, don't forget your name. Note. And those of you taking my class, I plan on fixing that bill of materials, and I'll probably send it to you. Hopefully for class, and eventually even I'll update this video probably next semester. Just I don't have time right now. Okay, and then just put in your name, full name, no initials, and just double check. Oh, these should not be shaded. So you could click on both, go to the gold ball there, and just go to hidden. They do need to be hidden though, hidden lines that is. And then we could compare it to the actual drawing. Okay, mine's a little different here because I used the other name. Oh, there we go, item name and quantity. That might be easier for you. And the balloons look good, section arrows. I think we're in good shape. I think I got everything. And don't worry too much about the scale. I just don't want it really small. 0.2 or 0.25 would be really nice if you could squeeze it all in there. And that concludes the exam. But remember, you can't watch this video when you take the exam. You practice it as many times as you like. I recommend 3 times practicing it. By the time you do the 3rd time, it's going to be a lot easier. And you can apply this to anything then. Good luck.